Yo yo yo, Soup Squad! Hope everyone is having a fantastic day or night. I've gotten a ton of comments since I've started making content about some pretty controversial topics regarding War Thunder that I thought I should make a video divulging my opinions about. No, I'm not addressing anyone in particular or trying to start any drama at all, and this video is not meant to be any discouragement towards holding your own opinions whatsoever. In fact, I highly encourage you to have your own opinions, even if they're different. Think for yourselves, don't be sheep. Just please express it in a civil manner. One of the biggest issues in the War Thunder community is the way in which people express their opinions, not the opinions themselves. I only make this video because I do think it's important to understand how I view the game in order to be able to best enjoy and learn from my content. This is my best attempt to remind you that this video is filled with my opinions, and again, you guys are encouraged to have different ones, but please, nothing inflammatory. As long as you can be civil about it, I'd love to continue this discussion in the comments below, so let me know what your thoughts are and I'll try to respond. Before I start, my intention is not at all to sound like a snail shill. I'm just any other normal War Thunder player like you guys at the end of the day. I certainly am willing to accept Gaijin and the game has their flaws, just like any other developer or game might. This being said, I do have a deep love for this game. It sounds cringe, but I literally grew up playing it for much enjoyment, so it had a profound impact on my childhood. My opinion might just be biased towards loving the game in this way. Also, keep in mind, I am not yet a War Thunder content creator. I am, however, hopefully on the path to becoming one, so I do technically have a vested interest to make the game and Gaijin look good. But anything I say in this video has absolutely nothing to do with that. It is all from my own opinions, out of my own brain, because I want them to be known. I'm adding this in post-editing. I just want to say that I feel like the main goal of this video, aside from just telling you my opinions and thoughts on the game, might be misconstrued kinda easily. I've always maintained a somewhat positive outlook on this game, and one of my main goals is to get you guys to have that same positive outlook that I do. Anyways, hopefully this video helps you with that, and enjoy. I'd like to start out by talking about the beginning of this game. Whether it's because people just forget or because there's a lot of newer players, I'm not sure. But sometimes, I think people fail to realize this game started as a World War II plane game. There were no tanks, no ships, no helicopters, just arcade, historical, and simulator battles all in planes in like 4 countries. If I'm remembering correctly, the ultimate top dog fighter was the P-51D5, that's not even the good one, the P-51H. There might have even been a Sabre. I'm honestly not remembering correctly if the Sabres and MiGs were there from the start. I was like 11 or 12 at the time and definitely did not have jets. But regardless, I mention this stuff because it is extremely important to realize top tier is end game content. Yes, there is a conversation to be had there about the advertisement of the game using top tier stuff, but honestly, what game doesn't do that? We could talk about that at a different time. The game has evolved so far that the grind now takes forever to reach top tier. In fact, Gaijin had to overhaul the grinding system entirely since this game was released. But please, name me another game, similar to this one, in which endgame content is not blocked behind a paywall or some sort of significant grind. There's a different discussion to be had about the length and actual achievability of the grind for free-to-play players, in this game specifically, with lives who actually touch grass. But to be completely honest, I want nothing to do with that conversation, because I just don't know enough about how that developing stuff works. On this topic, I want to mention that it takes a specific type of player to see things this way, and I can certainly understand if you disagree with me on the basis that you're a completionist. In War Thunder, you get rewards for progression. For example, 1 million lions for reaching level 100. But nowhere is it stated that you should, and as far as I'm aware, you don't get any reward for unlocking every vehicle. In my mind, the point of the game is to play what you enjoy playing. If you think you can only enjoy top tier vehicles, then I honestly am sorry, and I hate to say it to you, but this probably is just not the video game for you. To be honest, if this is you, I'd try to be thankful that we even have top tier vehicles in the game. You would have absolutely hated playing this game at a majority of points throughout its history. I'm not trying to cause problems, I never am. I'm genuinely just trying to help you be more optimistic so that we can see more of you around the community. I said it in one of my previous videos, and I'll say it here too. This is a video game that should be played for enjoyment. The only pressure on you to actually reach top tier is the pressure you put on yourself. Again, if you don't enjoy anything at all and think you would only enjoy top tier, this is an issue of forgetting how this game started and where it came from. Missiles weren't even introduced until about halfway through the game's history in 2018. Which, side note, it's crazy to think that 2018 is 5 years ago, halfway through the game's history. If missiles and tanks is the only gameplay you enjoy, be thankful that we have game devs that gave us the opportunity to enjoy them at all. Premium. Ah, yes, the paywall. I'm not a massive gamer, so I honestly don't really have any knowledge on comparable games to talk about the business model of War Thunder. But I can acknowledge that it's acceptable to have a business model. This is a free-to-play game after all. This goes for premium account and vehicles. If anything, I'd consider vehicles a blessing, as it's a one-time fee for a lifetime of games that you can easily get repaid for. Again, it's not up to me to decide what is and isn't crazy in terms of prices or whatever, because I don't know enough, and any complaints you guys have about prices is highly subjective regardless. The important point here is that I don't mind the fact that you can pay to progress, and the balancing of which is not up to you or me. Gaijin is a business at the end of the day, and if something isn't working for them, they won't do it. This also goes vice versa, of course. If it does work, they will do it. Apparently, people don't hate the premium system enough to not buy into it. Of course, this is not to say I don't have a problem with lower level players instantly buying their way to top tier just to fail miserably and quit. It's actually quite sad to see. This also isn't to say that you shouldn't complain if you do have an issue with it. As far as I can assume, complaining brings stuff to the attention of the devs, and perhaps you know more about the game development or balancing than I do, which is very possible because I know little about them to begin with. Speaking of balancing, there are definitely certain vehicles that can be argued pay to win, and for some, I might even agree with you. This, in my opinion, is the biggest detriment of the current system we have. Those pesky few premium vehicles that completely dog on everything else at their tiers. But aside from the overpowered or under-tiered vehicles, if you're an absolute whale or you bought Dogecoin early and had half a brain to sell while you were up thousands, why should I care if there's a system in place for you to grind quicker than most people? I'm not personally in a spot to do that, but I'm not going to be mad at you for it either. If you're in the BI, I might. This video is turning out to be way longer than I anticipated. Apparently I have a lot I need to get off my chest, so I'm going to try to make this the last section. Piñatas. I know they're gone now, rest in peace, but there will be other things like them in the future, and it doesn't matter what the thing actually is, just the system it runs on. I hear a lot of people complaining about how they opened millions of SL worth of piñatas and didn't get a single good thing. I'm not sorry to tell you that I have no sympathy for you if you're genuinely mad about it. If you don't realize how it's a gamble prior to indulging yourself in them, then you should probably stay away completely. Yes, I am defending piñatas because I find them as an awesome way for players to have some responsible fun. Keyword being responsible. We all know how addicting gambling is, and the path is as follows. You try to get something, in a few cases, get nothing. You try to open a few more because you didn't get anything yet after all those cases, and you deserve something soon, right? This is a fallacy. Each opening is an independent event and has its own odds, which are extremely small, blah blah blah. Anyways, eventually you run out of the free money, the Lions, and get pissed, so you use the money, the Eagles, to buy more. I see this as the player's fault, not Gaijin's for adding the feature in the first place. And this is not at all to be accusatory. Gambling addiction is an extremely serious thing. I've dealt with it a ton in my family. It's up there on the addiction severity tier list with drugs and alcoholism. If you need help, there is absolutely no shame in seeking it whatsoever. I personally would classify dumping a large portion of your spending money into War Thunder to open piñatas or CSGO cases or whatever else it might be as an addiction that needs to be helped. And take me seriously when I say that opening those cases is no different than normal gambling. I'm not at all trying to say that they can't be fun or you shouldn't open any whatsoever. But just like real life, only spend the silver lions you're actually willing to lose. If you go into it with a set amount, treat it like an expense for a fun time rather than a chance to actually make something, you'll be just fine. It's a mental battle. I know some of you might cringe at that because I'm talking about mentally convincing yourself to not gamble on a video game, but it is serious and does need to be said. The video game money actually does affect your real life when you spend your real life money on it. CSGO players know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've taken nothing from this, or you disagree, at least try to agree with me on the fact that gambling is horrible and should only be indulged if you're in the right mindset to do it. Try to accept that gambling money is the same as spending money, and make sure that you have the surplus to actually participate without putting yourself in a bad spot. Getting this stuff off my chest feels awesome. I'm sure a lot of you probably aren't gonna take too kindly to this video. Like I said, if we can be civil, let's try to have a discussion about it in the comments. The stream knows I'm not the type of guy to have a huge ego about being wrong or not knowing something that might change what my opinions are, and I will concede if you bring something to light that I didn't think about before. Or maybe you even agree with me, in which case I'd also love to know, because don't we all love to be affirmed? Since it feels good, if you guys like this more conversational format of videos, let me know. I'm sure there's plenty of other topics like these that I could share my opinions on and we could have a discourse about. Anyways, if you enjoyed, leave a like, a comment so we can talk about it, and consider subscribing, turning on post notifications so you don't miss my content, and checking out my other content. Check out the description as well for the link to my Discord server if you're interested in that. I'm gonna get out of your way. Have a good day, everyone, even to my snail detractors. I love you all equally, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Try to remember, there is no wallet warriors versus broke boys going on here. We're all just excited and loving members of Nimbo Soup's community. With this in mind, this is Nimbo Soup, Nimbo signing out.